Hello, everybody. I hope your weekend has gotten off to a great start. It's good to see you, and really kind of powerful energy that we're facing here over the next 24, 48 hours here with the equinox. So I wasn't surprised. In fact, I'm quite happy that the topic that you chose today was to focus on balancing things out. And the equinox is right on the horizon. I'm going to put down Mr. Apollo, who's half asleep here, so we can all get started. All right. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This is a weekly collective reading. For those of you who follow my channel, you know I do a few different types of readings. Basically, with the weekly collective, there's a chance for all of us to basically delve into the energy for the next 7 days, and also to take a look at a special topic which you choose for me each and every week. So thank you for making a great choice today. 1 second here, as my switching device isn't working. Speaking of energy is changing. Let's just try this and hopefully that will do it. Sometimes I have to reboot it. So let's see, maybe that will work. If not, we'll just kind of, I'll use my, I'll use the software itself to do this. So while I'm getting everything set up, thank you for your patience, by the way. I'm going to focus on 7 days. Actually, before we do that, we're going to go into channeled messages, and channeled messages come through dreams and meditations. And this morning, I'll focus a little bit on the totem that you chose for me, which is the equinox itself. And then we'll go from there into basically everything that I set up here. So I'm going to have to use the software to basically go between everything. So just give me a second. It takes one more moment. I can still do it. All right. So here are our channeled messages for today. Of course, the equinox, which is all about creating balance. And I had this cool dream where I was standing at the edge of the sidewalk, and we're going to talk about what that's going to symbolize for you in the week ahead. And I also just see a lot of people, comings and goings energetically when it comes to people in your life. So first things first, one of the things I love about the equinox, especially because I read for the whole planet at once, is that today is a day where as we look at it for tomorrow to Monday, it's basically going to mark the beginning of spring here in the northern hemisphere and autumn in the southern, and everything's equal. Everything's balanced out, at least for that 1 minute as we're reaching that equinox. And the name is actually kind of interesting because it's coming from equus and nox, so equal night, a little bit of a focus on the energy of shadow energy being balanced out. So we're going to look at any opportunities to maybe even deal with some of the challenges. In order to find balance, one of the things we need to seek out is the imbalances, identify that, and hopefully help you find a way to clear that out as well. So why do I like it so much? It's a chance for a reset. It's a chance to basically stake a claim and decide where you want to focus on things. You can either decide here to release or maintain whatever it is that you're doing. So if something's great, continue. That's good. You're going to continue that balanced approach. But if it isn't, this is a chance for you to regain your footing, which is why I chose the Fool here. One step at a time. And obviously the previous cards, if we go back here, the Sun, it makes perfect sense for today. This is all about connecting to source energy and finding that you're not necessarily being pulled one direction or another. You're really trusting yourself to make that movement forward. This is where things are interesting. Let's give Apollo some love so he'll relax and we'll move forward. All right, buddy. I know. There we go. Always needs one more pet before he relaxes. All right, so as a kid, I read a book, Where the Sidewalk Ends, and I was actually kind of vibing with that title when I was dreaming because I saw myself at the end of the sidewalk. It reminded me a lot of this Two of Swords card, where basically you have choices, and the choices is basically, the choice constitutes the power. And in life, in tarot, the reason that it's so interesting to be incarnated on this planet is basically because we set up milestones, but we can choose to embrace or we can choose to move in another direction. And that's not necessarily true of every place in the universe. So there's this really great energy here of choice. So I saw someone scribbling something in a journal, and it felt to me like there was a lesson or a karmic cycle that had come to a close, come to completion. And the question to you is, are you ready to try something new? Because again, tomorrow's a perfect day to set the intention. You don't necessarily even have to take the action, but make the decision at least. I'm done with this, or I want to embrace this, or this is where I need to be. Something needs to sort of shift energetically so that you can really make the most of it and decide where to go. So we're going to be using this deck here for the special topic. I like it. It has this great sort of earthy energy. I think it'll suit the special topic well. So yeah, the interesting part is where the reason I like this is the paved portion on a street. That's where people programmed you to want to walk. But when that ends and when you kind of go into, let's say, a hiking trail or something, you have to decide, do I want to go that harder route? Do I want to take the easier one? Do I want to go on this new one that hasn't even been formed, but I want to explore? There's no paving there. There might be some sort of a path that people have walked, but you can also create your own. So choice is a big part of this week ahead. I saw a lot of people coming into your energy this week. At least one conflict where it's sort of like you really wanted to hang out with both people, or there's a compelling request for your time from two different people. It felt like you definitely know one may be someone from the past, or maybe someone that you want to get to know. And this is where the sort of conundrum lies, because there's an opportunity and then there's some loyalty. So Three of Cups seemed like the perfect card here because socializing is key. Choices are key. You want to make sure you're making the right choices here. And I think the important thing to focus on is, where is your heart? What is the other person trying to get from the exchange? And that's going to probably be enough to help you make the decision. But the good news here is I don't see doors closing, I see doors opening, and I see the biggest challenge being on deciding, what do I do? What do I focus on? And to me, that's a decent place to be. Okay? So let's go ahead now and get ready for the next portion. Again, welcome to the Weekly Collective. Let me see if I can't find the normal thing that I put up here. But what we're going to focus on next is basically a 7-day forecast. It's going to take us from Sunday to Sunday. And let me go ahead and choose the deck that I want to use for this, and then we'll get moving forward. All right. Okay, let me go ahead here and pull the camera down. Zoom in. There we go. I'm going to use this black and white deck because we're balancing out light and shadow. So I'll be using some shadow sort of centric deck here, and then I'll use the light deck for the main topic. All right. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All right, let's begin with today. We're going to look at the energy of Sunday. We have the Knight of Swords in reverse, and this is basically an encouragement to speak your mind, to really decide what it is that you stand for today. And this is a good day for editing, for revision, for basically taking something that isn't where you want it to be and say, all right, this is what's working, this is what isn't, this is what I need. Speaking up, using your words in the best possible way. A Knight of Swords also is not wasting any time. It is about trying to find where the movement can happen. So if there's anything where you feel like this is going to be a better investment of time and energy, you'll want to put your effort behind that. But this is about communicating status, communicating needs, communicating anything that really needs to be sort of put out there in the open. And by doing it today, you're going to be able to start the week on a solid note. There's nothing that's going to be sort of like energetically heavy or just sort of like sitting with you too much. So I love that. So with this, act quickly, be succinct, be clear, and I think all of that's going to help you out in this moment in time. All right, so we're going to move from Sunday to Monday. And for Monday, we're entering into an energy of increased creativity. It's a good day to meet with people. The King of Cups represents an opening of the heart. Again, a creative flow. It could be an individual in your life. It's a great day for love, for relationships, for meetings, for everything of that nature. And I also see like this King of Cups coming in on a ship. So for some of you, there could be someone coming in from out of town. That was one of the energies that I connected to in dreams. So perhaps you've been meaning to meet with someone, and all of a sudden today's the day where that magical thing happens. So Monday looks like it's going to be a busy day socially, a good day creatively. As far as your mood and general demeanor go, the King of Cups is favorable. It puts you in a really sort of good, energetic light. So I'm actually quite liking what I see so far here in the week, specifically when it comes to Monday. So let's go ahead now and move to the energy of Tuesday. Tuesday, we have Judgment. It's a very unique illustration for Judgment. It shows awakening, and we see the angel sort of like looking downward. And I think this is a day where some of the healing can happen. And some of you might be readjusting or reacclimating to this new reset that we talked about. So this is when the equinox happens, Monday. Tuesday, there's this question of, where am I? When you wake up, this is kind of how it feels sometimes too, right? Your eyes are a little bit tired. You're trying to figure out like, what day is it? What am I trying to do today? So give yourself a little bit of time, extra time on Tuesday to just make sure that, you're not in a hurry because you might miss something. Or like this morning, I wish I had one more moment just to test my switching device here. You never know. And you just want that extra buffer so that you're going to be prepared, so everything will be all right. And in case you hit traffic, in case you forget something, you have the extra time to go back. If there's a delay with plane or travel, you're going to be able to deal with it. So pad the day with a little bit of contingency time, and that's going to serve you well. The other thing with this card is it's a question, do you believe in yourself? Judgment and justice when reversed. Justice reversed means you don't want to do it, but you might be doing it. Judgment reversed means like you may not have a say in it, and it's really sort of a decision of, am I on board with this? Do I believe in myself? If you don't believe in yourself, other people have a hard time doing it. Or how am I going to react to something? Because the door's just about ready to open up, and it's important to get ready. So clear your mind, clear your intention, keep some padding in your schedule. I think you'll get through this, and this should be a breakthrough day. If you can push through to the end of the day, the next card in the major arcana would be the World. So this is a chance to really get something and have it take flight. But it looks like at the beginning, there's it almost reminds me of a plane on a runway that, has to pause for a second. They have to check something. So there's a delayed liftoff, but eventually you lift off. So I just want you to be prepared for that. All right, so let's see. I am trying to... There we go. I have to do everything manually today. So we looked at Monday, Tuesday. As we look at Wednesday, this is a big question for you with respect to which direction do you want to go? So back to Where the Sidewalk Ends, which was one of the first books of poetry I read as a kid. What's cool about it is little observations of life. I think what you really want to be paying attention to midweek is, again, what have you learned? Where are you at? How can you make the most of a situation? And if you want to go in a different direction, do it. The Chariot in reverse can be deciding to take a right turn, take a left turn, or go back and retrack some of your experiences or your journey so far. Let me see here. This is the main thing with the Chariot. Who is steering the ship? So for some of you, I saw you writing in a journal, and I think one of your big opportunities this week is taking control, speaking your mind, making some decisions. And this is the day where that really comes into, not necessarily question, but it comes into play. Once you do that, things start to take off and you start to feel good. And remember, it takes time to get somewhere. We don't want to rush. We had so many, just to kind of tie in all my daily one card pulls, because that gives me a pulse on the energy from day to day. Like last week, we got the Hanged Man a couple of times. We got a few cards that really wanted you to slow down. So let's carry with us some of those lessons. We can still make movement this week, but what we were taught time and again last week was just to be present, to be aware, and to make the most of that moment. Okay? So let's move on to Thursday. And this is where I think some of you might be feeling tied in a couple of directions or pulled in a couple of directions. So on Thursday, we have the energy of the Ten of Cups. Friends, family, coworkers, people maybe that you haven't even met before, coming into your life and saying, hey, do you want to hang out? Or I need you to come to this meeting. Or you may be drawn to do something new. It's a great day for networking, for hanging out with those that you love, for making new connections. Your biggest challenge is how to not kind of like overextend your time and energy. And I think the other big challenge could be other people sort of projecting their wishes, desires, or fears on you, because we tend to be very susceptible to energy when we have the 10 of Cups around us. You're definitely plugged in and influenced by the people around you. Okay, so let's go ahead now and take a look at what's coming next. So we just looked at Thursday. Now we're going to move to the end of the week, to Friday. This is where you really come into your power. And this is where there's a little bit more of this recalibration. So of course, we're going to naturally recalibrate on the equinox. I told you that Tuesday is a sort of like balancing day. You find your direction here, you start to mix and mingle with people, and I feel like now things are coming into focus. It's like you put your glasses on as we're going to the end of the week. So as we're looking at Friday, you want to sort of hold firm to what it is that you believe. Don't second guess your intuition. There could be a new opportunity. We see the door in the background. And the question here is, and this is really, these two cards play together. This was Tuesday and this is Friday. So this is basically, I embrace the new path that I'm on, and I see that I've opened that door. Let's go through that. Let's not waste any more time. So there's a window or a door of opportunity on Friday. You don't want to miss that. You don't want to second guess your higher judgment. And I think as long as you do that, some great things will come through. It's a good day for you to do creative endeavors. So starting something new, persuasive conversations. High Priestess reverse is actually quite persuasive. She can see what the other person is blocked or wants, and she can find a way to basically find a win-win situation and really pull someone into her court. So when I'm looking at you, I'm happy to see the High Priestess reversed for persuasive conversations, but don't second guess yourself. That's my main sort of continual thing that I want to mention on Friday. All right, moving on to the weekend. Let's just look at the 2 days together. Of course, I like Saturday a little bit more than Sunday, but Sunday is about letting go of something. So it's still positive because it's the devil reverse. But let's start with Saturday and then we'll talk about Sunday. So Saturday's energy, we have Queen of Cups. For some of you, this could also be, there could be a partnership coming through for you. And we see that the beginnings of the partnership starting on Monday. And then by the time Saturday comes through, the Queen of Cups is saying, hey, yes, it's an answer to your call, for instance. So I like that. It's a great day to spend with friends, family, loved ones. A lot of the same energy that we talked about on Monday holds true here. But the thing with the Queen of Cups is she's a little bit more developmental and a little bit more nurturing. So for you, I really think this is about you. What is it that you need to do to be happy, to feel loved, to feel safe, to feel like you can express yourself? The King of Cups, he's more about acting and moving and doing things to, in the world, but the Queen of Cups is more receptive. So I really would love for you to do something that allows you to heal, to tune in, and to honor whatever it is that needs to come through that day. I think it's a self-care day. A lot of the queens end up being taking care of yourself or paying attention to something. So Cups is the heart. And that was one of our choices too. So really focus on the heart chakra and think, am I blocked? Am I happy? Where do I really want to invest time and energy? That can help you with some of the existential things that might be coming through with the 10 of Cups, all those people that want your time and energy. So this is a day to really kind of tune in here. But it's fantastic. I'll take a King and Queen of Cups in a 7-day spread any day. You guys are off to a good week from what I can see. All right, let's go ahead and focus on the trickiest card for the week ahead, which is the Devil, and it's coming through a week from today, next Sunday. Now, what I like about this one is it's the Devil reversed. So it almost reminds me of the Hanged Man, the way that this one is illustrated. Ostensibly, what we could assume from this is that this person is finding a way to unravel themselves from this cocoon of energy. And so for some of you, there's been a person, place, or thing that you've been engaging your time and energy with, And this is the final day that you really want to kind of like put a line in the sand and say, this is it. I don't want to do this anymore. This could also be the day where you have an epiphany and think, why am I holding back from doing this? Because it would be healthier, it would be happier. So maybe this would be a good day to break the cycle. You could start, if you don't want to start it this day, you could at least sort of like make a plan and say, like, I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to see a doctor, or I'm going to send out a resume. I'm going to do something to reclaim power, to reclaim control, and to feel like I've got this. So I don't think that this is a good day for dates or contracts, or necessarily for the beginning of something. I think it's a day to state intention, make a decision, and really decide to break something off. So if you want to dissolve or reclaim power, dissolve a contract or reclaim power, absolutely on this day. For everyone else, I think it's about putting a line in the sand and saying, let's do this tomorrow, let's make this happen, and I'm going to stay accountable. Reclamation of power is usually what the Devil card is about. And reversed, it's just basically saying you can do this. So you might just need to encourage yourself and psych yourself into that fact that indeed you have this under control. So quickly looking at all of the cards in front of us, here's what we've got for the week ahead. We're going to look at high points and challenges. Today's a high point. We're looking pretty good today. I like that. This is the ability to scribble things out, write a plan, write an agenda, write things in your diary, get things planned out. During the week, the best days to meet up with people and to do things socially, tomorrow, Monday, and then next Saturday. Those are the best sort of days for social. I think also, of course, Thursday is pretty good, but this is the day where I saw you tied and pulled in different directions. These are the days of more empowerment. This is a day where you're going to have to really kind of keep healthy boundaries. You'll have no problem kind of like having your dance card full, but you want to make sure that you're not overly extended. The challenge days for the week are Tuesday and a week from today, next Sunday. Tuesday, there's some sort of disbelief or false start, but once you get past the disbelief or false start, everything comes together. And next Sunday, you have to really sort of let go of something. And just decide, like, I want to move in a different direction. Overall, a good week. We're going to meet next Sunday, so we'll work through this energy, so don't worry about that. All right, let's go ahead and push these to the side, and we're going to get ready for the elemental forecast next. And so the elemental forecast comprises earth, air, water, and fire. Normally I put a super imposition thing up here, but I'm just going to not do that here for a moment because I have too many things that I have to click on here right now. So let's just focus on this. We're going to shuffle the cards, and then when I pull it up, I'll do earth, air, water, and fire. Apologies for not having the graphics, but it's all right. We go with the flow. All right, so give me 1 second to get everything lined up because I believe that I can still do this. All right, here it is. This is what we're going to be doing. Elemental forecast, fire, earth, air, and water. And again, let's go back to the desk and we'll get this set up. Fire, earth, air, for whatever reason, has 2, and water. Okay. Let's take a look at this and see the messages one by one. Okay, we're going to start first, sorry, not with earth, but with fire. Fire signs. We have the 6 of Cups in reversed. For many of you, this is going to be, again, that week where you could be torn between a couple of different directions. Should I do this? Should I do that? There could be someone from the past, someone right now that you love, and it's this feeling of... it's a good problem to have, but it's sort of like, where is my heart now? And for some of you, you might be moving more towards a new developing relationship, and you might need to explain to those that care about you the most, I just need to spend a little bit of time. This happens when you fall in love. So some of you might be falling in love. Some of you might have started a new job. You might be in some sort of a new activity, and it's basically pulling you in one direction. There could also be some healing that needs to happen from the deep past. So this could be a childhood friend or a sibling or parent. And basically, this is you sort of saying, you know, I've learned a lot in this part of my life. I'm ready to release some of these energetic lessons, and I want to move on. So whether you say I'm sorry to the person, or whether you just reconnect and say something that you wish you would have, I love you, or whatever, this is a time to kind of create that healing. And also maybe just make peace with the fact that you've changed, you've evolved. If you could do things differently, you would, but all you can really focus on now is the present and the future. So take the lesson and apply it in the present. You can't fix the past. You can't always get that connection with the person again, because sometimes they don't want to hear you. So find that resolve and find that peace in the heart. Say what you can if you can. If they're in spirit, say what you need to say, and then just do the best that you can and do better, moving forward. That's the true sort of way to evolve and be the best version of yourself. If you're looking for love, this is a good sign. You're probably pulling in a karmic relationship. 6 of Cups tends to be karmic partnerships. Okay? All right. Moving on to Earth, looking at Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. All right, so Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. There's a lot of love. So it's interesting that I was picking up on people coming into your life this week. We're definitely seeing it. In fact, let's just take a pause here. I make it hard on myself because things are so far apart on this. So if we look at this, okay. So actually what you can see here is 6 of Cups, Lovers, and 3 of Cups. There's a ton of different sort of engagement cards this week with people. And actually even the Emperor, King of Pentacles. So just a lot of people showing up. We wouldn't normally see this many people. I definitely think that this is going to be a week that's exciting for networking for all the different elements, all the different signs. But again, all that I mentioned with it being sort of a challenge for you to keep your wits about you, that's true as well. So back to Earth here, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The cool thing with this is you can use Lover's energy in any way that you would like. It's persuasive. So if you need to convince someone to buy a product, service, or to listen to you, or that your point of view is correct, they're just kind of like enamored with the way you're talking or who you are, or they like you. So the Lover's card can be very good in business. Of course, it's good in friendships and love. And if you love what you're doing and if you love who you are, then we talked about this a little bit in today's one card pull. Your self-worth, self-love, and self-respect absolutely affects the way that others perceive you. So self-worth equals net worth. In fact, it's either going to inflate or deflate your net worth. So really focus on loving yourself and loving whatever it is that you're doing. It can only bring more success and fulfillment in your life. And I mentioned the idea that wealth is not just your bank account. So if you haven't listened to my one card pull today, it was kind of cool. I really liked that last piece, which was wealth is measured, in the love that you experience, in the all the sort of experiences that you bring into your life, and just the general joy and fulfillment that you have at the end of your day. So I want you to make sure that you're bringing that sort of richness as well, and then you're truly rich not only in resources but also in experiences. And all you really take with you in the end is the love, the knowledge, and the experiences. The money, the title, this body, it all stays behind. So really focus on loving who you are, who you're with, and where you're at in your life. And if you can do that right now, Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, you're unstoppable, okay? Let's move on to my air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. For whatever reason, you've got 2. I always like to read the top one as the main energy, and the one beneath it is the opportunity. So the main energy for you is the 3 of Cups, which I picked up on in my channeled messages earlier. And so for this, I really think it's important to say yes to some invitations. So if there is business meetings, conventions, just friends hanging out, or just getting outside, taking a walk, weather permitting, of course, this is going to be important because the 3 of Cups means that through these networks, through these activities, maybe not today, maybe not this week, maybe not even this year, but whenever it's meant to be, you'll think back and you'll be like, I'm so glad I did that week because I met the person who helped introduce this person who helped open that door. So today is one of those sort of chain connections and chain reactions, or this week I should say is one of those. So you want to say yes, you want to open up. It's a good week to meet new people. It's a good week to date. This is more of like if you're in a store like in somewhere in the purchase path, this is the trying on phase. So you would go to the changing room and you'd bring a few different things and you'd think what fits. Whereas the King or Queen of Cups would be like, I'm interested in this. Take my card. So I think this week you're deciding who you are, what you want, testing and trying different things out, not feeling initially that you need to make a decision. By the end of the week, we do have a King of Pentacles, and you'll be more decisive because you gave yourself that opportunity. King of Pentacles is also about personal development, and you're going to be putting a lot of energy into business this week. Business, finances, resources, and part of that is the relationships that you have. So these relationships can actually help open up this. And I've found this the older that I get, it's actually people that I know and people that I've kept in touch with. And then you can just have a random conversation and they'll say, you know what? I know who you should talk to. And it's not even like you were looking for the answer from them. You might just be complaining or talking out loud. And it's the Three of Cups that brings the King of Pentacles. So a friend might know someone that this could be love, this could be business, this could be resources. But again, it comes through the network. So this is the presenting, and this is the reward or the sort of latent thing. And it could come through later, folks. It may not, that King of Pentacles, like I said, it could be a week, a month, or a year from now. But the work that you do with community, with friends, with networking, that's where the power is this week. All right. And now moving to my water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, we've got a pretty empowered card for you. The Empress is great on an equinox week. This is about being able to birth something, being able to take control of things, being able to speak your mind. It's a very auspicious card in any given spread, but especially this week. And given all the people cards, so we had like the Six of Cups, the Lovers, and the Three of Cups. You're the one sort of element that came through that's saying, I'm just happy with myself at this point, and I can call in someone if I need them or if I don't. There's a very nice sort of independence. And so for my Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, it feels like this week gives you a chance to really be with yourself, focus on that relationship. It's still a relationship. The stronger that gets, the stronger existing bonds are going to be, and then future ones. And so I really like that. You've got the Boss card. So it's a great week to speak up, to take control, to say what you need to say and do what you need to do. I love all of the bright energy. I'm trying to pick very contrasting decks this week to kind of bring some different things in. All right, let's quickly review, and then we're going to move on to the special topic for today. Again, thanks for your patience as it takes me a second more to click all of these things as I have to search through everything. Okay, and then, okay, there we go. So looking at, again, as we're moving through this, the main sort of sequence that I'm seeing with everything this week is it is about people. When we look at fire signs, there's karmic cycles coming through for my fire signs. For Earth, you're actually being put in a place where you can use your charisma to your advantage, and there's a lot of opportunities coming through because of your charisma. For all of my air signs, it's really about collaboration, getting out there, networking, and then there's a hidden bonus to that, which is something really cool could come from one of these networking opportunities. And then again, for water, the more you know yourself, the more you're confident and comfortable with yourself, the more everything else starts to open up and the more exciting that it gets. All right, let's get everything set up here, and we're going to move on now to the special topic for today. Because we have an equinox and because you guys chose it, we're going to look at basically reclaiming that balance, finding the perfect balance in your life, and making this the best possible period that we can. All right, let me grab the deck and we'll get started here in just a second. So this portion of the reading is going to be for everybody present, as was the beginning. The only piece that is specific to the elements is the elemental forecast. All right, I'm going to be quiet here as I pull the Celtic Cross. We're going to go back to that this week. Like I said, I'm going to go back and forth as I feel necessary and whatever suits the topic today. I thought this would be really appropriate for the topic. And I may do something different for the expanded today. So just let's see where it takes us. All right. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and do a traditional one today. We'll stick to the old standby for today. All right. Let me try one other thing. Can I? Oh, good. Okay. I have a secondary thing here, and this will make it a lot easier. All right. I have a pedal, which I can use, so let me use this for this. It'll make it a little bit easier for me to switch between the main camera and this. All right. Yay for backup plans. All right. So for your catalyst today, we have the cave, and basically coming out of the cave, right? So this is the cave upright, and if the cave is reversed, to me, this is about revelation, finding your way and finding a new way. I think that's amazing, and that actually is very auspicious. Birthing energy with this as well, right? And coming out of the dark. And the cool thing with this, I mentioned this because, again, I read for Northern and Southern Hemisphere. Whether you are going towards autumn or going towards the summer, I guess winter, yeah, basically. Well, no, spring, yeah. So spring and summer already feels. I wish it was summer right now. So spring and fall. It doesn't matter because it's a change of season. It's a change of energy. So change basically lifts us up, pushes us in the right direction, and it gets us out of this. So it doesn't matter if your days are getting longer or shorter. There's a change, and you can use that change to basically allow you to get out of a feeling of stagnation. All right, so if we look at the table here and focus on the center portion. Actually, you always know I like to just look at the general spread. Right off the bat, we have 2 aces, which is amazing. Very rarely do I get 2 aces at the center. I can't actually remember maybe in the last couple years when I got 2 aces. So it's been the first time in a while. We see the expansion here after a period of being stuck or stagnating, which we just talked about. And then everything here looks pretty good. We have 2 kings. So 2 aces, 2 kings. We have the 10 of Pentacles. Again, a lot of people, a lot of things kind of pulling at you. Just like I was reading for the elements, I believe the water signs, we have this empowerment card as the core of the message for today. And accountability and hard work are coming through. But overall, I see you at the precipice of a big sort of expansion and some choices that you've got to make. So I'm going to try to help you with the choices today. Let's start with your centermost card, the Ace of Swords. So with the Ace of Swords, it is in reverse. And some of you may be wondering, wishing, and thinking, who do I reach out to? What do I do to make this happen? This Ace of Swords is reminding you that you are the person, you are the source, you're the one that's going to kind of like initiate this. So what does that mean, and why am I saying that? It means that if you are interested in a job or a relationship or a change, it basically comes through by you sort of saying, hey, I want to talk about this, or I have an idea, or throwing your hat in the ring for consideration. You have to take a leap of faith, you have to take a chance, and you have to believe in yourself. If you do that, then some movement can start to happen. Some of you may need a little bit of help getting there. So if you need someone to help you say that or to hold your other hand while you're doing this, that's fine. But one of your 2 hands has to be working on picking up the phone, sending the email, or creating some sort of a movement, making the handshake and saying, let's do this. So everything this week, the balance, it all kind of hinges on speaking, writing, or doing. We have to make a verb happen. This is very much a verb when we're looking at aces. And that's actually how I would differentiate the Ace of Swords. Wands, Cups, Pentacles could be there too, but this one's active, it's super active. So we're seeing we need to bring the inaction of the Hanged Man into action. And that's what this opportunity is right now, because the Hanged Man was in the past, so the message there is enough is enough. All right. So as we look at the center spread here, we have the Ace of Wands crossing this, which is really now about how to articulate your ideas. Some of you may be a little bit better at articulation than others, and so and sort of illustration of your ideas. So this card is reminding you that it's not just words. It could also be visual aids. It could also be just simply showing, hey, this has been done before. This is really effective for those of you that are wanting to make a big change in your life and friends or family don't believe it. You could say, well, here are like 10 different examples of people that have done what I'm doing. At the end of the day, you don't really need permission, but sometimes it helps them to see where you're headed. There's also a choice here, and I talked about hiking and where the sidewalk ends. This stag can either try to leap across the canyon or ostensibly could just walk around and go up this way. There's a couple different ways to get to the same space. One is going to require going down the hill and going up the hill. Another one is a leap of faith. So I think you have a couple of ways to achieve what you want to do, and make sure that you're doing what's best for you. Sometimes it's worth taking the leap, because if you trust in yourself, if you know what the risks are, and if you've done it before, maybe it's going to be easy. If you're a little bit more conservative, just pad in the extra time, like I said. But what I see here are two different opportunities for some of you too. And the challenge could be which one calls to you the most. At the end of the day, which one kind of lights up your mind, your heart, your life a little bit? That's the answer. It should not be, again, what people are trying to convince you you need to do. It's what your heart is telling you you want to do, right? All right. Focusing now into the deep past. So we have the Hanged Man coming through, and if it's going to come through, I'd actually prefer it to be here, because everything else is kind of the antithesis of the Hanged Man, right? So the Hanged Man here is basically a reminder that part of the reason that it took you a while to get where you're at, or part of the reason that you needed to sort of sit still for a moment, was to discover something. I had dinner last night with a friend, and we were kind of reminiscing on an old job or whatever and how we might change things. But what kind of came through, and I agree with this, it's what I said to this person was, I wouldn't have changed a thing, because if you watch enough science fiction or read enough sci-fi fantasy books, you know that when you mess with the timeline, everything changes. The person changes, the way you are, who you are. So I like where I'm at, and I think that was a chapter that was difficult but necessary, and I learned from it. So I think some of you are coming through one of those difficult but necessary chapters, and the Hanged Man in mythology represents a sacrifice of time and energy for knowledge, basically. That's how I would sum up this card. And because we got the Hanged Man so much last week, you remember the lessons, which were to slow down and look around. While this person's hanging upside down, they can see things from a different perspective. They can gain new insights, and they can hopefully avoid doing the same thing. That's the main thing that the universe wants you to do. Don't make the same mistake, or don't make this new mistake. And if you can embrace that as the big lesson here, then I think you'll be all right. All right, moving on here to this. We've got the World card, expansion. So with this is basically saying that the main purpose during this next week, and I would say in this equinox period, is basically, are you moving forward? And I saw someone in the comments kind of like worried about speaking up or doing something. I think that you should take initiative. That's what we're talking about here. The initiative, though, for you, everybody's going to be different. Are you moving forward? This is actually my question to you. And this can help all of you decide, like, if you're moving forward, you're where you need to be. If you're feeling the sense of fulfillment that we talked about earlier, you're where you need to be. If things are getting accomplished and it feels good, awesome. If you feel like you're lacking, if you feel like you're still stuck, if you feel like it's not inspiring to you, you're not being heard, because by the way, the Ace of Swords in reverse can be a lot of talking, but people not hearing it sometimes. So what we really want to make sure is that the energy is bringing you upward, outward, onward. And if it isn't, then however you want to take initiative or speak up, this is the time to do that. With the World card, a few things to think about. This is the year for many of you to look beyond what you've been doing, look beyond the obvious. So this is reaching way beyond borders or expectations. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to physically move, though you can, but it could be something bigger, something different, even if you stay in the same place. Okay, so in a relationship, this might be moving in together or engagement or marriage. At a job, it could be a transfer to a new division or a new title. Or if something's completely stuck and it's not working, it's an end of this And it's basically moving into something completely different. So it either needs to be upgraded or supplanted by something bigger. Movement up or movement out. Make sense? The other thing with this is if you're a small business person or if you're trying to launch something, this is saying, let it go. And this is all about kind of like you being able to canvas a larger surface than just where you've been. So this equinox wants to bring expansion. However that factors out for you, you can decide, I'm just here to kind of like set up the cards and get you started. All right, as we're going to your crowning position here, where your head's at and what's kind of coming into your energy here, we have the 10 of Pentacles. It is in the reverse state, so there may be people asking things of you. I want this. Can you do this? Where are we at on this? So loyalties could come into play. We see the dog here that represents someone that you trust. What I really think is fascinating with this one is look at the old man. He is so bored. And there's just a lot of sort of, to me, gosh, this card strikes me as kind of like how I felt when I was in a corporate environment. It could be cushy, it could be predictable, it could be expected, but it's also laborious. So if there's something in your life where it just feels like you're sleepwalking, you're going through the motions, relationships count as well. So whether it's a job or a relationship or just some activity, and you don't get anything out of it other than it's there. We don't want to be like that old guy, right? He is not feeling it. So I want you to be able to feel like you're awake. I think I told you guys this before, but it still makes me laugh even now. There were like many days that led up to me knowing that I needed to quit. But one of them was when the boss came in and said, "Oh, I didn't even notice you were here today." And I thought to myself, am I that bored and that disconnected and that kind of far in the background that someone wouldn't even know I was here? It was a wake-up call. They didn't even think anything of it. But to me, I thought, that's terrible. If someone didn't know I was in the office and I'm sitting there and I'm talking and I'm working. So if you've blended in that much, this is also about coming out, making sure that you're being seen. That was also a kind of like constructive criticism to speak up a little bit more, be a little bit more bold. Nobody's noticing. We've all been there. I've been there. But for me, that was like, yeah, I'm really ready to move on. And I wanted to move on before I was made to move on or had to move on. And I was just like, this is it. So if you're bored, it's time. I'm sorry to say. If you're not bored, if you're stressed, because he could also be stressed, you don't have to do this alone. So we don't have to carry the weight of the world on our back. So you can also delegate. That could be another piece to that. All right. As we look at opportunities, and this is really what you can do with the week ahead, we have the King of Swords. The opportunity then is going to lead you to the King of Cups. So we have a call, we have an answer, which I like. There could be love, partnership, or an agreement coming through here in the future. So it's definitely worth speaking up. King of Swords puts it all out there. This can represent law. This can represent a contract. And this is simply about saying what you need to say. Okay? With this one, never underestimate your communication skills. And if you're in a relationship or a job or anything in your life where someone wants you to be quiet. This was another telling moment. So I was also in a meeting once there, and everything that I said got shot down, or there were other times where I actually had to like sit in the car while there was an important meeting just in case there was a technical issue with something. And I just thought, what am I doing here? I'm like actually not making a difference. So if your voice is, or if you're behind the curtain, or if you're not allowed to do something, or if you're bored, there's a lot of like wake up calls that can happen. And I've been there. So this is a time to sort of like flip the script. That's why I saw the person writing in the journal, trying to figure out, is this tracking to my path, or should I go down this center path? Forget about this one and this one. I'm going to go here instead. So this is a chance for you to rewrite your story, recast yourself, recast the people around you. And that's actually what I was also doing the other night when I was talking to my friend. I'm like, I'm not really angry at this person or that person. They helped me. They helped me realize that I needed to do something else. So sometimes an ex-lover can be someone that helps you realize I need to respect myself more, or I want someone that's more committed, right? An ex-boss or an ex-coworker that lets you down makes you realize that you want to be at a place where you're valued, where you're supported, where your voice counts. So everybody that rejects or hurts or somehow jettisons us out of a space also gives us an extra piece of armor that makes us stronger. So use your experiences, your cumulative experiences now to show your wisdom, show your potential, and to not allow for a repetition in a cycle, okay? As long as you're doing that, you're going to be A-okay, all right? But the King of Swords is saying, use your voice, take some action, do something. So that's the constant message that the universe is channeling through me time and again today, and I hope that that's helping. We'll continue to connect the King of Swords to some other things. Let's look at the other cards here. All right, so as we look at you this month, you're actually coming through pretty empowered. I'll take the Emperor card. The Emperor is reversed. So the Emperor is basically figuring out what he needs, and he's also making sure that he focuses on personal development a little bit. I think some of you may not have had the best example, maybe it was a parent or a boss or whatever. You're like, I've seen a lot of people showing me how not to do it. So what you're going to figure out is how to do it and how to be the leader, how to be the strong person that you've always been seeking. And I mentioned in a lot of my readings over this past week that when you start to embody it, when you start to believe it, that's when the universe then starts to bring other people in that have done that same work. The other thing with this is that I'm being asked to talk about saying no and not accepting no, and it's a really challenging thing. So let's talk about no. For some of you, there may have been some conditioning is the word that's coming through. There might have been some conditioning that you're not allowed to say no because you're not supposed to upset people or shake the boat or make anybody uncomfortable. There are times where no is the right word to say and the best thing to put out there and say, no, let's try this instead, or I'm not ready yet. There's a lot of different ways you can say the no, but no is important. Some of you have also been conditioned to not take no for an answer, and that goes contrary to what I just said. And here's why. If somebody says, I don't want to do it, or I'm not the right person, or we shouldn't, whatever it is, they're actually telling you their truth, and they're trying to help you from forcing them into something and maybe wasting time and energy. So this card, and this is all channeled right now. This card is about knowing when you need to say no and knowing when you need to listen to others' no and accept it as the blessing that it is. So whether you're turned down for a job, turned down for a date, someone at work doesn't want to do something, maybe you manage them, maybe there's someone around you and they just say no. Children notwithstanding, because sometimes we don't want to say no too much because then that's a different energy. But I'm talking about adult, fully developed people that are saying this isn't it. We need to listen to that, and we also need to be able to do that ourselves. So that's going to be a powerful tool this week to help you avoid getting into things that aren't worth your time, and help you avoid overcommitting, overextending, and things of that nature, okay? And that's my message on that, because this is about power, and the power this week is in no. For whatever reason, that's how it wanted to come through. And yes, eventually I'll get that merch out there. Rejection is protection, because it is. We don't always feel it in the moment, but it absolutely is just that. Here's what's going on in the environment. You are like that Energizer Bunny commercial. You keep going, you keep persisting, you keep getting better with each day. So we have the Nine of Wands here, and I believe, yeah, it was reversed. I have a little delayed replay here on the side. So with the card in reverse, well, first of all, let's look at it upright. This deck takes a different take on it, where we see like a sprained arm or whatever, or a fracture, radial fracture. I've had one of those before. They're no fun. But basically injured but not beaten down. This is basically saying you may have thought that you got the best of me. It annoyed me. It took some time and some energy out of me, but I'm not done yet. The Nine of Wands will finish what they've set out to finish, the character in the Nine of Wands. So I like that. What can sometimes happen with this is it can be overwhelming. It's here. Usually it's centered in your head. So it can be migraine. It can be persistent thoughts. It can also simply be you're working yourself too much and there's fatigue and the thoughts aren't kind of coming together. So I want you to take care of your basically your 6th and 7th chakras, but your head. Take care of your brain. And that's not normally something that I would kind of come through a reading, but that. And then we also see the potential injury here. Don't push yourself so hard that you burn out, okay? And it can hit any part of your body, whether it's your head, your arm, your legs, whatever. So be kind to yourself. All right. Let's go ahead now. And by the way, this can just be a pushy person in the environment. 10 of Wands and 9 of Wands in reverse as an environmental factor can be someone who won't take no for an answer. And this is where you'll just repeat it. Say, this really isn't up for discussion. I said no. You're going to have to find someone else. No, no, no. You'll have to keep repeating it to someone that doesn't take no, or go above them, or go around them, or walk away if they're not listening. They're pushy. And that's not gonna, you don't want to get pushed into doing something that's not right. Okay. So you're a survivor. We like that. There could be someone around you that has cotton in their ears and isn't listening. The big opportunity as we look at the balancing energy of the equinox is accountability. We have the 7 of Swords and we have the accounting right there on this card. This one is a pretty unique illustration. So let's look at it. Again, it's reversed, but we'll look at it in the upright. It's better reversed, by the way, because it means that you're going to tell the truth and see things as they are. But basically, we see someone almost like Ebenezer Scrooge here, it reminds me of. But anyway, there's this accounting book that has everything written, and someone may hold you to the account and say, hey, you agreed to this, or it's in the fine print. You may hold someone else to account and say, we already talked about this. Why are we having this discussion again? It's been decided. But the cool thing is it does feel like there's some documentation or previous discussion. And at some point, if someone keeps kind of like relentlessly not wanting to come through, it's time to cut the cords there. And that's the main thing with 7 and 5 of Swords. They're like besties. We don't really want to have, like 5 of Swords, you can't win. 7 of Swords, you can't count on them. Neither people do I want in my court. So I would basically just say, this is last and final warning. But honestly, by the time the 7 has come through, you don't even need the last and final. The only time that you're going to do that, though, is if it's like a family member, a very close friend, and you know you're going to see them again and again. Just say, you've crossed a line, but let's fix this, and I don't want to ever have this discussion again. That's the only time I would do it. If you can't cut every sort of connection. Sometimes there's just people, and you know that's how they are. The other thing is it's a reminder to not count on them. We can't always take people out of our lives because they're blood relatives, for instance. Or you might share a child with someone and you have to deal with someone that's difficult. But what you can do is build contingencies and not depend on them, and that's going to save you time. And it's nothing against them. It's just seeing them for what they are, right? Now, for yourself, it's about keeping promises big and small. If you say you're going to meet someone for dinner, meet them for dinner. If you're going to walk the dog, walk the dog. If you're going to get the groceries, get the groceries. Those little things also add up to a bigger 7 of Swords sometimes. If you say you're going to, take care of yourself, make promises to yourself, do that as well, whether that's eating, exercising, or being healthier in some way, shape, or form. It's just holding yourself to account as well. Okay. Moving on to your final card, we have King of Cups energy here. Love it. Basically, with the King of Cups in reverse, some of you are manifesting a partnership. For those of you that are doing that, this person needs a lot. They need a little bit more validation, and they're also very willing to receive. So one of the things that you may need to do with business, friend, and love relationships that are coming through this week in particular, especially as we're resetting boundaries, balances, and energetic sort of frequencies here, is to also ask for what it is that you need, or say, that's all I can give right now. So there's a common thread here: speaking up, being accountable, holding others to account, also making sure that you articulate positive reinforcement, but also like what it is that you need. But I actually like these two partnering up. I feel like this one has a lot to say and can get stuff done. There's a lot of creative energy and intuitive energy here. It's a nice partnership. But this partner, the one that's being called in, and this is whoever you're calling in, I want them upright. I like that they're both kings because the energy's even, but what I would say you could do to pull the King of Cups in the upright position is honor your heart, honor your emotional state right now. If you're unhappy, seek out the proper support, counseling, or whatever it is that you need. And if there's something that you're doing that you don't like, really try to course correct there. Your happiness, your mental health, that's going to affect who you pull into your life. Also, things like grieving and stress management can also call in this sort of energy. So if you're grieving or stressed or just not able to fully process emotions right now, either take extra time, create an activity in your life that's an outlet, or talk to somebody. Because until you do that, the people that are entering in are going to test what it is that you haven't resolved just yet. And I want to help you avoid that, to be honest, because it's not fun. Who needs that, right? There's a better use of time and energy when it comes to everything that you're doing. So let me see if I can find, here we go. I think I've got all of these set up here. We're going to look first at your health card. This constitutes both well-being, your mind, your body, your spirit, and particularly we're looking at where to find the balance, because that's the main thing that we're trying to accomplish this week. All right, so let's turn the camera down and look at your health card right now. I am grateful for the earth. This is about grounding yourself, to be honest, but it's also about getting out and seeing the world a little bit. So for some of you, I think the biggest thing that you could do for yourself right now is to take a little bit of time and decide, like, what am I going to do to get out of this office, to get out of this dormitory, whatever it is that you've been spending time doing, and to just really enjoy the day. And I'm just as guilty as some of you of like working too hard. We all have days where we like miss just connections and everything, but do something today that truly grounds your spirit and your energy. In addition to that, because we're looking at the sunflower here, this reminds me a lot of the Queen of Wands. She's a take charge sort of card, as you know, and she's able to manifest and to do things that others may not believe, see, or understand. So your grounding and your power comes from your belief system and yours, and what you've done in your life to sort of like set up this, this sort of like support system. So I would encourage you to find people in your life that not only are open-minded, but may even be good at with the like an accountability partner is kind of what I'm getting here. So if you want to start a new health workout routine, maybe it's someone that you can do that with, whether it's someone that's going to go walking or running with you, or you're going to take a class at a gym with someone that's going to keep you grounded. Whatever you can do to be grounded, and then the power starts to come through and some really cool stuff starts to happen. And then you'll be like the Queen of Wands before you know it, and you'll be the boss. But I feel like creating a nice network of, and we got that from my air signs this week, but creating a nice network of people and activities and resources that you can lean into, that's going to be important. And that's what's going to help you grow, really. All right, let's look specifically at the cards with respect to your health and see what's going on for you. Where are you out of balance? Well, some of you may be, like I said, stuck in one space too much. So the Hanged Man and this Earth card, it's like get out and see the world. Because this Earth card is also what's waiting for you here with the world. So this is a time to take a step in that direction. So get out, change environment is what we're getting with this. Some of you may have some injuries. If we look closely at the bottom of this card, always want to pay attention to ankle, foot, metatarsals, even the heel, lower extremities, but particularly the foot. So if any of you have a former injury or sprain like I've had, get the rehab, take care of yourself, get some good shoes. I can't sort of like stress the value of really good shoes. I found a new brand that I like, and I got like 3 pairs of them. They have really thick soles, and it made a big difference, especially because I had a metatarsal injury. All right, let's see what else is coming through. Managing pressure, peer pressure, and work pressure, because this is going to affect your heart. It's going to affect your emotions. And at the end of the day, it's not sustainable if you're doing everything for everyone. So I said he can just be stressed out too. If we look at this gentleman close up, it it could be stress, and he's just like, not this again. So this is really your chance to find a way to be better at stress management, and I think that's going to pay off in spades. It's a good thing. Again, with stagnation, so I want to see more movement. Standard disclaimer applies. I'm not a doctor, but like I said, whatever you need to do, work with your professionals to figure out what makes sense, and I think that's key. We have two cards that show maybe like a past injury, maybe even one that's coming back. Take care of that first. Don't push yourself too much, and don't be pushed into something that you know isn't right. Other than that, I like everything that I see here. And again, kind of getting out and changing up the environment is the main thing that time and again wanted to come through on that one. So moving on from health to wealth, which encompasses resources, life, purpose, and also career. Let's see what the cards have to say for wealth. All right, as we look at the energy of wealth, we have a busy V here, and we have the surrender card. And it says, bask in your joy and light, or bask in joy and light. I've mentioned before about the importance of understanding that wealth and richness, if you will, it's not solely in the numbers in your bank account. It's not in the title after your name. It's not in the whatever it is, your status, your community, where you live. What it is truly is, was today a good day? Did I learn something? Am I having fun? Did I like who I talked to? Do I like what I'm doing? Am I a part of something bigger that I feel like is making a difference? So when I look at bees, one of the cool things with this is it's a collective, it's a hive, it's a community. So there is this sense that I'm part of something bigger. So I feel like wealth-wise and career-wise and life purpose-wise, what's really coming through is, are you a part of something beyond the dollars, euros, or figures in your bank account? If not, it's time to find your tribe, your hive. And then part of spiritual development is surrender. It's sort of like, I don't have a choice. I've got to do this. And it's going to bring what we see at the bottom, the joy and the light. And this is the card that matches me. There's usually one card that I pull that matches. But I was also, the other night someone was asking what I did because it was a new group of people. And so it's always interesting because then they hear like what I did before, and it basically at the end of the day, the way that I describe it is I didn't have a choice. I wasn't happy. I had a higher calling, and I'm happier now. So when you surrender to what it is that you're supposed to be doing, or where you feel like the energy is, you're going to find other people that can help you do what you need to do. And it's just, things will start buzzing. So that's the other thing. I think you're going to have a busy year if you allow yourself. And I say year because I think if you really start to move the energy in the right way, things will come together. Let's look at the cards specifically for the energy of wealth and where can you find the balance. Besides everything that we've talked about already, what are you doing to bring action to these? Because I see for some of you, there could be this feeling of being overwhelmed, like having a lot of things in your head or on the plate and just not knowing where to go. Now we can look at these as different sort of energies. You could be pulling in someone to help you out, to help you accomplish something. What I do see here, though, is disapproval for some of you from boss, parent, or someone in your life that likes to pretend like they know better. You know best. I don't want you satisfying them but being dissatisfied yourself, because I see two different outcomes here. You can either go your own way, or you can do what they want, and it's not going to make you happy. So there's someone here who disapproves. The Emperor is typically like this guy here. It's a paternal figure in your life that feels like, I want you to listen to it. I want you to do it my way. So your path, your equilibrium in this equinox comes through rebelling and doing what you need to do. All right. I don't often tell people to rebel, but that's kind of what I'm getting here. You're the queen bee this time. You're not the worker or the drone. So, and in a hive, there is only one queen bee. If there's a second one, they're grooming her to be the main queen bee. So there might be someone in your life that has that mentality. I'm the queen bee, whether they're male or female. It's basically just sort of like I'm the boss. the truth of the matter is we can all be bosses in our life, and we're not operating in that hive mentality like that. And so for some of you, you're breaking from that and you're going to create your own sort of truth. And that's a powerful piece to think about. All right. What else is coming through here? If you want to see significant growth and movement in your life, be willing, able, and open to look at different markets. So it doesn't, like I said, doesn't necessarily mean you have to move, but if you are marketing something or moving something somewhere, larger canopy, a larger place is going to be important. So it's not where you're at. Where you're at, I feel like you're stuck. There could be a glass ceiling. There could be this disapproval that I'm picking up on. Whatever it is, you're being asked to kind of move out of that and look for something new. All right, let me see if there's anything else that we need to focus on. There's just a lot of people in the room when we're looking, not in this room, but like in this. So what I'm picking up on here with the king, the emperor, I think here the important thing is know yourself and know that you are just as deserving as anybody else at that table to be there. If you're in a room with powerful people, you're one of those powerful people. Like energy attracts like energy. If someone that you look up to taps on your shoulder, walks up to you, or starts a conversation, they see an equal. They see someone who brings value to them. So imagine that as these important conversations happen, you're also valuable, just as valuable, if maybe not more than, you never know. So just see yourself as equal to or greater than what you've previously thought. And, or what, like someone else, again, if looking at your whoever it is that you're looking up to, you're a peer to that person if they're talking to you. And I don't know why it's hard to believe. We do the work, but it doesn't always set in sometimes, but it's important. And at the end of the day here, when it comes to work and contracts, we mentioned the Unraveling Devil card for a week from today. Hopefully by next Sunday, you've dealt with the person or the thought or the pattern that constitutes this Seven of Swords, which is a lack of accountability. So if you can get over this, then everything's good. This is truly the only big block this week. Someone tries to kind of get pushy here with the Nine of Wands, but you're strong enough. Lots of king energy coming through, lots of emperor energy this week. So I do feel like you can handle almost anything that comes your way. It's just a matter of standing firm and standing tall to that. There's a chance for expansion. Things can go bigger. You can bring in more resources. If you're looking for employment, it comes from word of mouth. Make sure new contracts serve you and serve the other person. It's not just a one-way road. And that's pretty much it. Okay, let's move on to the next piece. We're going to look at love and relationships. Again, standard disclaimer on all of these. I'm not a substitute for a relationship therapist, but what I'm going to look at today is patterns in your relationship sort of energy and try to help you see the opportunities in front of you. All right, so focusing on the Oracle card today for love and relationships, we have reaching out. And that is so closely connected to, remember all of our cards were people. We got what? Like the Six of Cups, the Lovers, the Three of Cups, and the Empress. Was that it? Or the Queen of Cups. But we got like all cups and all strong cards. So absolutely reach out this week. You have this sort of indelible, undeniable charm and this ability to really get people's attention. So why not? This is kind of touching all aspects of your life, not necessarily just your relationships. This is saying that outreach and reaching out. So the outreach, for some of you, you want to do service work, right? Maybe you want to give back to the community, do something with faith or meditation or giving back to children or underprivileged, et cetera, et cetera. Go for it. You might meet some really great people that have that same sort of service-oriented approach. This is the inner child, because this reminds me a little bit of the Six of Cups card, reaching out and asking for help, and Six of Pentacles, asking for what you need. But you're going to get a lot. You have to reach out. And that person that was afraid to talk, I don't know the story, and I'm not reading individuals, but I think there's an important question there, which is, how do I do it? You don't have to do it alone. Talk to some other people. Get some other people involved. It's stronger if it's grassroots. So especially if you're trying to make a difference in a large organization, many voices are stronger than just one. So take a pulse check. Is it just me, or is anyone else feeling some frustration with this? Do you want to have it? Should we call a meeting? Should we talk to someone? Should we get some signatures? It all starts with one voice, but you can get many people behind that one voice, okay? The card in reverse is again saying that, if you need help, you don't have to do this on your own. So it doesn't it's the opposite of weak to ask for help. It shows I know where I need some assistance. I'm strong enough to kind of reach out for that and to do the repair work that's necessary. All right. For whatever reason, we've made it difficult for people to ask for help, but this card is showing you the strength in that. All right, let's look at relationships in 3 different levels. In love, looking for love, single and happy. In love can also just be the person that you care about the most. It doesn't have to be romantic. If you are currently in a relationship or thinking a lot about someone, again, this could be a best friend, it could be a parent. You still love them. It's just not romantic. So that kind of love, deep love. Here's what I'm picking up on. So for the romantics out there, for those that are actually in a romantic relationship, I like the chemistry. We want to get the Ace of Wands. It feels like there's chemistry, but when you start to have a conversation, sometimes things can cross wires, or it's just easier physical than it is verbal. So working on more open communication. One partner has a much easier time speaking. One does a little bit more listening. So if we can even that out, looking at imbalances, that's one thing that I'm picking up on. We'll start with romantic and then I'll see if I can kind of like factor it out to just general here. But for the romantics, again, this I would say there is also a question, where are we headed? Where are we going to? Like that old theme to Mahogany. So this is things sort of status quo, not changing. This could be getting engaged, starting a family, or doing something more like where are we headed in this next chapter of our lives, like empty nest even, like what are we going to do after the children are gone? So something's changing. There's a new phase in the relationship. The good news is I still see the two of you here and pretty evenly matched. What I see being the piece that's taking up time and energy is, you said you were going to do this, or why didn't we do this, or you promised me that this would never happen and this happened. So accountability. Communicate about why this is happening. Communicate ahead of time if you can't do something. Don't fight unnecessarily, or if you're fighting, it has to be productive. And this is where, again, standard disclaimer applies. I am not a relationship therapist. I can only say that there's some arguments or disagreements or some pressure, and there's a little lack of accountability. What you want to do with that, that's up to you folks. I do see strong will and strong will across the board. So when you have that many sort of strong personalities, sometimes you need a third party to come in. So maybe counseling would help. But keep your promises. Hopefully they can keep theirs. Talk about why things aren't happening if that's the case. I don't see necessarily a third party here. I see promises not being kept. And that's just as frustrating sometimes. All right, moving on to those that were just sort of still looking at existing relationships, but if it's not romantic, we're focusing more on this portion of it. It feels like you guys have similar ideas, but the execution of things, how people do stuff, it's different than what you want, and there's some control energy there. Again, and this is in both romantic and platonic. Some of you just feel like, but this is how I want it done, or they think, you wanted this, I do it this way, and so maybe you're gonna have to meet in the middle. Nothing here seems like it's beyond fixing, but some of you have already moved on. Some of you just are ready for a change, and that's okay too, okay? So if it's a natural sort of end of something, that's fine. But if you wanna work it out, you can. The main thing is not pressuring and not doing, or something that you said you were gonna, or not doing, yeah. Basically, if you say you're gonna do it, do it. If you don't do it, you have to say why and be accountable at the end of the day. All right, now we're gonna move from existing relationships to those that are seeking. If you're looking for love right now, do you have time? What I'm seeing right now is a lot going on around you, a lot of work and a lot of things that you're focusing on. I see more than one individual coming forth. The Three of Cups is basically presenting itself here. And so when the Three of Cups, we've got the King of Swords, the Emperor, and then the King of Cups. King of Swords and King of Cups, rather. When three people like this that are all strong are coming forth, it feels like there could be a little bit more discernment in what it is that you're looking for. But I think your challenge right now is finish what you've started, do what you say you're going to do, carve out a little bit of time in your schedule aside from work for social and for self-care as well, social and activities and self-care. And then I see people coming through. And of the three of these, I like the King of Swords the most because he's decisive, he's strong, he meets you, looks you in the eye. This person is more interested in getting things or doing what they want to do. And this person is looking for someone to fix them or complete them. So the person that's got it together, that has an easy time talking to you and is really, they're the antithesis to this. And the reason that there's a little bit of conflict here and they're not ready to come in and there's some other people before that is because this person, if they say they're going to do it, they do it. So make sure that you're doing everything that you need to do, and then we can pull in this energy for you. All right. Resetting all of that and looking for those that are single and happy. It's a fantastic time for business. Like I said, the world, things are starting to open up for you. 10 of Pentacles, new money, new resources, new opportunities. Your biggest challenge is how to get all of these things off and running, because you have at least 2 solid ideas right now. And you have a lot of people that want to be around you. For those that I read that had, it's almost every element had water or people cards. So you're pulling in a lot of people. Be picky, be discerning. If you're going to engage in business or create some new friendships, be picky because you can afford to be in this period of time. All right, let's move from this to the Destiny card, which is ever changing based on your choices. And this is basically saying, you're not going to force me to do something that I don't want to do. We got the Whip reversed and we've got the 9 of Wands reversed. 9 of Wands or 10 of Wands in reverse can be someone using their power in a way that's not appropriate. And there's no better card for that than this. This is someone who's using their power in a way that's inappropriate. You're going to stop it. I like that the illustrator chose to use Medusa on this. She is stopping a cycle that is abusive or not correct. She's going to look someone in the eye and say, no, it stops here. Using eye contact is key because it's Medusa. And that's how she stops people in their tracks. And if you've noticed, if you really want to make someone uncomfortable, even if they are in your face, look them in their face, look them in their eyes. It's the eye contact where the power is. But what you've got to conjure up in this moment, for some of you that are going to shift the scales of balance in your favor, you have to believe it. You have to be ready to call your bluff. You have to believe that this is the moment, that this is what I stand for. This is who I am. There's no which way around this. So if you can get to that place of confidence, resolute energy, and also articulate yourself, even if it's not perfectly, but with that eye contact, you're going to see the energy shift. And it doesn't have to be confrontational. It can also just be someone saying, why should I listen to you? Or, why do you believe in this idea? And it may not be an attack. They want to really know, why should I listen to you? And you can say, I feel like everything in my life has led me up to this moment. I've done research. I've really paid attention to what you're interested in. I think it's all converging right here, right now, and this would be the perfect partnership. If you can say that and hold eye contact, and put the appropriate amount of passion and connection in there, they'll be like, all right, good. I just wanted to see if you were on board. Sometimes that's it. I had a boss who said, I knew that you had the right decision. I just wanted to hear you say it. And I wanted to see that you believed it. And now I'm ready to move forward. I was like, okay, thanks for the test. But, you don't have to sweat. If you sweat, it's fine. But they just want to see if you're there. So I feel like someone's putting you to a test. And it's the eye contact and basically saying no. And also, it could just be no, I'm not going to do this, and this is why. And then shoot the Medusa eyes at them. All right. I actually think Medusa is wildly misrepresented and misunderstood in mythology. She's powerful, and she just wasn't kind of made out to be the right kind of character here. But she's pretty, I said this before, if she was an X-Men, she would be on the same level as Storm, because she can literally change people to stone. So she's pretty powerful. You can stop something, and that's what this is about. Stopping something that doesn't serve you and stopping someone from pushing you into doing something you don't want to do. So really powerful card, really powerful message, and the power sits with you. All right, let's pull one last card, the big idea for today. I feel like we got a pretty good overview of everything. Technical issues didn't even bother me today, so thanks for being flexible. All right, and as you know, the big idea is basically what's it all about? What's the opportunity in front of us, and what can we do to overcome that, that challenge? All right, so we have Nine of Swords coming through for this big idea, and it's basically saying, I choose not to succumb to stress. I choose not to let the things that I can't control take me away from new opportunities, new things that might be on the horizon. In order to regain my power, in order to regain my balance, which is what the equinox is about, I understand that fear is part of life. Like there's things where and I can maybe use the fear as energy. I'm going to transmute it. So the butterflies before a performance, a date, or an important conversation, that constitutes fear, but it can make you do your best if you don't let it get the best of you. We just want to get you away from stage fright this week because the stage is ready. The lights are on. The spotlight is there. The star power wants to come through. We don't need fear, the energy of fear, to be what stands between you and that. And Medusa isn't the worst thing to meditate on. The reason she was given that power is because there was unwanted advances from other gods, and basically her patron goddess gave her that power to protect her. I mean, that's a very glossed over version, but so she was given this power to keep people that she didn't want in her life away. But it also ended up making her not able to talk or see down anyone's. Greek and Roman myths were tragic. There was always something that was way over the top. But I believe that if this was seen through modern eyes, it would be a different character. So see yourself as strong, seeing yourself as being able to create barriers where you need them and open up doors where you need those as well. And I think that this is going to be a really powerful week ahead for you. Get enough sleep. That's something that even this morning I made sure I got like an extra hour. I'm better when I'm rested. I've kept this weekend time because most people want to get out and explore, or I know that this sits just right, but I changed my weekly readings to a little bit later just so I could have more time to rest. I could walk the dog, I could eat breakfast. But I understand like sometimes it's a push. Just make sure that you're not burning the candle at both ends, and I think that's going to be key. Let's meditate. And before we do that, we have one more card that we're going to pull at the end. I just want to remind you, it's going to be the final card. I don't know if I can pull all of that up, so I'm not going to worry about it too much here. But the way that this, I do. We're going to have a final card here at the end. And basically the way that this works is after I meditate, you can focus on one question, one issue, something that I didn't have a chance yet to talk about. And we'll go into that. And I'm going to focus here on this in this moment to really kind of bring us into balance. So just close your eyes if you will. Take a nice deep breath. Relax your shoulders, neck, and back. Letting go of any sort of frustration, any fear, any doubt, any uncertainty. Focus, if you will, on the rising sun. As you see the sun rising on the horizon, imagine that you're reaching out your hands and you can see sun rays kind of moving through your silhouette and two really strong rays kind of landing in your hands, almost like you are the scales of justice. And there's another ray that's going through your heart. So just imagine that there is all of this power kind of going through your arms, going through your heart, almost as if you're like a firebird, right? Or thunderbird. And you can even imagine that these beautiful rays, almost like flames, are coming off of your arms here. And you're basically like a phoenix ready to rise from any ashes, from any setback, from any frustration in your path. So see your earthly body just staying there and doing a sun salute, but see the etheric, subtle body rising up like this fiery bird and getting a good view of the planet, like where you are, what it took to get where you are. And know now that you can get where you need to be without any further delay or any additional friction. This beautiful phoenix is showing you the way. So as I play the singing bowl, you can just do the 3-part mantra, I can, I will, I am, and then put behind it whatever it is you want to be doing in your life and see yourself forging that path. And then we'll take a look at the final card afterwards. Allow for that wisdom, for that light, for that energy to come back into your body, seeing the Firebird riding one of the rays of light, joining in with the heart chakra. Bring your hands together. Seal the power, the energy, and the insight from that higher self, from that avatar of you back into your being. Carry that flame, that passion, and that power with you each and every step, each and every breath of each and every day. Take 1 or 2 additional breaths, and on the next natural exhale, I'd love for you to open your eyes and focus, if you will, on the final question that you have for me, whatever that might be. Let's shuffle the cards and see what's coming through. All right, so what we have here is the 7 of Cups. This is an interesting card to come through for the final question, because basically what this constitutes is a sort of dreamy exploration sort of energy. And it's saying that this is a good week to allow yourself to dream, to pay attention to your dreams. And what you really want to do by week's end is to come to a conclusion and say, all right, enough wishing, enough dreaming, enough sort of researching. I'm going to go forward with something. But give yourself this week. It's 7 cups, it's 7 days. But we want to probably do it before Sunday, because Sunday was the devil. I would say Friday or Saturday, if you can kind of wind up on something and put your energy and put your sort of most of your sort of attention into that, you're going to see some really good progress. You may be very busy right now thinking about someone or something. So this card is also a question from the universe. We see the dream, we see the vision, where's the action? And again, as we looked at the cards at the center, the action was the first one. This is action, this is words. So we need to see a little bit of both, and we had like an ownership card here as well. So all of these are kind of coming together as we're looking at this card. It's a good card overall. Again, as a yes, no, this is saying you're not sure. It's a no because you don't know. So I basically want to see certainty, and this is uncertainty. It's a desire to dream a little bit more, know a little bit more, learn a little bit more. So not until you are certain should you move forward on something. But with this comes possibilities. So I like the dreamy quality, but we only want to be in that sort of energy for so long, and then you take action on that. So give yourself a week if you want to, and then after that, figure what's next. All right. Thank you everybody for showing up today. I think I found all of these. Yeah. So if you enjoyed this reading, please give me a subscribe. I couldn't ask earlier because I couldn't find all of the superimposition stuff at the bottom here. So please like, subscribe, and also share this. We're really close to a milestone. We have 347,000, about 3,000 away from the milestone. Once I hit that, I'll do a Q&A where I take questions from members. If you would like to give back, it's optional, but you can always do that through super stickers and super chat. You can also join me across social media. I'm on all major platforms. Be careful on Instagram. Even here on YouTube, there's a lot of fake accounts. I do my best to take them down. Remember, I don't give private readings. I don't direct message you. And if anyone does that, someone on Instagram's offering palm readings, which I've never done on this channel and I don't do. So just use your common judgment. This is the only way here during a live reading to connect. And if you ever have a doubt of what my official handles are, here's my web address. It's also on the About page. Usually they're getting better, but usually a good way to sort of sort out real from fake is how many followers, and then have they filled out the, like how many videos do they have? Is there any engagement with the videos? Usually there's like just enough to make it look real and no one's engaged with it, and there's very few followers, sometimes 0. So you just want to be smart about that. I want to say it because I'm seeing it more and more lately, and it's so frustrating. So especially when you spend a lot of time putting time and energy into this, and someone comes through and tries to make it difficult for people that are watching. All right, I want to say thanks to everybody for showing up. Thanks to Dakota for help with moderation. I'm going to take a couple moments here to give some gratitude to the latest members. First of all, thanks to everybody that's been an existing member. Like I said, we're very close to a milestone video. Once we do that, you'll have a chance to ask some questions. And I'm working on a podcast that'll launch later this year. I'm in pre-production. But once my podcast is up, I might put some behind the scenes stuff for members or some stuff that I cut out of the podcast. So there'll be more membership perks later this year, but I'm just slowly kind of growing that as time marches on here. All right, so to the following people, I just want to say thank you. These are the ones that joined today. GF, NYC, Matilda, Etu, Maria, Martha, BX Berries, and I think that's everybody that joined today. And also for those who gave back with a super sticker or super chat, let me just call those out as well. So let's see. Kicking things off today, Julissa. I'm just going to say everybody's name first. Julissa, Andrea, Marianne, Renita, Yoga Rising, Kay, Lori, Raven, Divinely Feminine, Jeannie, Lydia, Just Me, Carmen, Pearl, Island, I think it is, Kathy again, thank you, Monica, and Rosa. Thank you to everybody for showing up today. I appreciate your time and energy here as well. Let's see, I think there was a couple more in mind as well. And Rosa, if I didn't say thank you. But I appreciate your time and energy. Hopefully you enjoyed today's format. I change it up from week to week. I decided to do regular today since I had some technical issues. And again, be patient. I saw someone that said, I hate what you're doing, or I'm not going to follow you because you change it. And I think to them that that's too rigid. I offer a lot of different things and we change it up every week. So this week it was more standard. Next week it may be a little different. If this happens to coincide with the Q&A, it may be Q&A. Just be kind, be open, and we'll always have fun here. All right, everybody, thank you so much. Lots of love and light to you. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you again this week. I'm live every Monday, Thursday, and Friday. Daily videos on the Shorts tab. All replays can be found on the Live tab. And again, every Sunday, I'm here to walk you through the opportunities for the week ahead. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.